Have you heard of the term Hollywood fixer? These are people who specialize in solving other people's problems. Specifically, these folks would look after the private lives of celebrities. They helped cover up scandals, so the celebrities' public image remained squeaky clean. This video will take a look at some famous Hollywood scandals that were quote-unquote fixed. These were the type of black marks that could potentially sink careers. It shouldn't be a surprise if you've never heard of these transgressions, embarrassments, and wrongdoings before. These specialists were good at their jobs. But they are nonetheless compelling stories. Keep watching as we take a look at old Hollywood scandals that history forgot. Joan Crawford was in an adult film. Everyone remembers Joan Crawford as an icon of Hollywood. She was beautiful, talented, and one of the jewels of the film industry. The Academy Award-winning actress was known for her films like Mildred Pierce, Sudden Fear, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. For many years, Crawford was MGM Studios' biggest star. However, before she reached the mountaintop, she was grinding in the industry. This hustle included at least one adult film. Crawford starred in the pornographic film Velvet Lips when she was a teenager. Some accounts suggest the actress was even underage at the time of filming. Those who held the film were demanding $100,000 to keep it under wraps. When this came to light to the powers that be in Hollywood, they knew they had to put the kibosh on the story. MGM partnered with famous fixer Eddie Mannix to track down and secure the film and the negatives. As the story goes, Mannix partnered with the mob to stop the would-be extortionists. They offered two options: $25,000 for all the evidence, or a plot of land 6 feet under the ground for the men. That apparently settled the deal. In 1943, after Crawford left MGM, she paid them back $50,000 for helping protect her career. Errol Flynn was tried for statutory rape. Between the 30s and 50s, Errol Flynn was one of the go-to action stars on the big screen. Robin Hood, Don Juan, and Captain Blood were some of his major roles. But Flynn's escapades off-camera were not as heroic. In 1943, Flynn was accused and ultimately stood trial for statutory rape on two 17-year-old girls. Though he denied the charges, Flynn was responsible for the lurid and damning quote, "I like whiskey old and my women young." In the courtroom, it seemed Flynn used his charm and acting skills to wiggle out of the crime. The jury was starstruck by Flynn and found him not guilty. During the trial, Flynn met a 19-year-old girl that he later married. Before we take a look at some of the other celebrity stories that also stayed on the QT, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Greta Garbo and Marlene Dietrich's affair. It's been suggested that in 1925, these two starlets appeared in the film The Joyless Street. This is tough to prove because no full copies of the film survived. Yet historian Diana McClellan, studying photographs of the film, is near certain they shared scenes. Why is this interesting? Many accounts claim the two actresses had an affair during filming. The younger Garbo fell hard for Dietrich. On set, it was a torrid love affair that ended after filming. Apparently, their time together ended with both women upset. Later, Dietrich divulged to a friend that Garbo was a, quote, unintelligent child, among other harsh words. George Reeves' mysterious death. George Reeves was most known for his portrayal of Superman. The actor played the hero in over 100 episodes of the series The Adventures of Superman. In 1959, Reeves was found dead in what appeared to be a suicide. Yet there may have been more to the story than what people know. Before his death, Reeves was known to be having an affair with the aforementioned fixer Eddie Mannix. As we know, these problem solvers sometimes had some seriously harsh ways of resolving issues. Naturally, Mannix would not have been pleased about the news. This could be a roundabout way of connecting the dots to murder. Years after Reeves' death, Eddie's wife Toni was overheard confessing in a church that her husband killed the actor. It's an interesting thought that Superman was murdered by Mannix, but most historians still believe Reeves did in fact commit suicide. Hollywood coerced many abortions. The film industry is a business. The wheels have to keep turning and the show must go on. But this notion sometimes has dark connotations. When many stars signed contracts, the studios veritably controlled their lives. The studios decided what films you made and what your public persona would be. The studios went out of their way to ensure their starlets didn't get married or pregnant. In Hollywood's eye, this could be seen as damaging to their rep and keep them from working. As such, many abortions were pressured over the years. Among the actresses who had studio-arranged abortions were Bette Davis, Joan Crawford, Judy Garland, Lana Turner, and more. The cover stories given to the press about the actresses visiting the hospital ranged from getting some rest to an ear infection. Leni Riefenstahl visits Walt Disney. In the 30s, Walt Disney was one of the biggest names in the world. Everyone wanted to get a visit or meet the man. In 1938, he gave a tour of the Disney lot to Nazi filmmaker Leni Riefenstahl. Riefenstahl was the biggest name in Nazi propaganda in Germany. Her 1935 documentary, The Triumph of the Will, was a strong endorsement of the Nazi Party, and it made waves around the globe. Walt Disney showed the director around sets and let her take a look at his new film, Fantasia. The pair even shared a private screening of Riefenstahl's next documentary. Needless to say, this was not a good look for the Mouse House. MGM pushed pills on Judy Garland. The famed singer and star of The Wizard of Oz had a rough go in the film industry. Judy Garland's talent was recognized at a young age, but with this recognition came some horrifying treatment from the execs at MGM. The harassment began at age 13 when an executive called her a fat pig. The studio constantly berated her about her weight. This made the young actress develop diet issues. At age 16, one of the higher-ups said she was so fat she looked like a monster. Her problems developed further. She started taking diet pills supplied by the studio. When she was 18, Louis B. Mayer, one of the M's in MGM, ensured she go on the shocking diet of black coffee, chicken soup, 80 cigarettes, and a regimen of diet pills every day. This deplorable treatment led to Garland suffering from eating issues and drug abuse for the rest of her life. Lana Turner's daughter killed a made man. Lana Turner built her career by playing femme fatales in such films as The Postman Always Rings Twice. But it seemed some of this bad side showed off-camera as well. In the 50s, Turner was dating known mafioso Johnny Stompanato. Johnny Stomp had ties to the notorious mobster Mickey Cohen. In 1958, Stompanato was found stabbed to death in Turner's home. The culprit was Turner's 14-year-old daughter, Cheryl Crane. Crane stabbed Stompanato with a butcher's knife in the stomach in front of Turner. She was said to be protecting her mother from the man. Turner took the stand at trial. Even Mickey Cohen was brought in as a witness. The court ruled the killing was justified. Yet, like many Hollywood scandals, sordid rumors went around. Was young Crane in love with Stompanato? Did Turner kill him and get her daughter to take the blame? Maybe some of the famous fixers knew the true tale. 4 people died while filming Hell's Angels. Howard Hughes was one of the most famed aviators and business magnates of the 20th century. One of his many undertakings was making movies, and perhaps his most famous film was 1930's Hell's Angels. This big-budget film, featuring airplane dogfights, was rife with production woes. Ultimately, it cost $4 million to make. Always a perfectionist, Hughes wanted the film to be as realistic as possible. This resulted in some very dangerous stunts. While it did result in some thrilling footage, it wasn't without tragedy. On set, 3 pilots and 1 mechanic were killed. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these scandals surprised you? Were any of your favorite actors mentioned in this list? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.